Joining us now, legal analyst, former U.S. Attorney to the District of Columbia. It is Joe diGenova. Joe, good morning. Happy Monday.
And the same to you.
Hey, Joe, I know that this is an exciting day because in the interest of searching for truth, justice, and the American way, the Mueller grand jury has been extended. I know you are probably so excited about this. We're finally going to get to the bottom of this Russian collusion and invasion in our elections.
This was a ministerial act, meaning that it was of no significance whatsoever. I saw all of the breathless idiots on CNN, MSNBC, and the major networks on Sunday just absolutely almost orgasmic about this extension. This is necessary for Mr. Mueller to complete his work. And there are obviously certain things that have to be cleaned up, and there may actually be some additional information that they have to take testimony from. But this is of no significance whatsoever, and he actually doesn't even need the extension of the grand jury to issue his report to the Attorney General. And let me remind everybody, his report goes only to the Attorney General. It does not go to the public, and it does not go to Congress. And because it contains grand jury information, it cannot be made public unless and until there is a court order and completely obliterating most of what will be in the report.
So that move by the Mueller team to extend this, that was a pro forma move. That was not of significance?
Yes, it means nothing. I mean, obviously they have to have the grand jury continue in order to continue to do any work like return any irrelevant indictments having nothing to do with Russian collusion. By the way, just again, one more time, the Russian collusion part of this investigation has been over for a very long time. All of these other indictments of bots and companies and people who will never show up in court from Russia are just ludicrous examples of what happens when you allow something like this to occur, that is the appointment of a special counsel. And we can thank Rod Rosenstein, the disgraced Deputy Attorney General, who sits there still waiting for Bill Barr to come in and fire him.
So as of this morning, does it seem likely to you that that Mueller's investigation is indeed about to end?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that it is over with regard to Russian collusion and any illegal activity with regard to that part. And I have no idea what that illegal activity would be because, again, everything that Michael Flynn did and George Papadopoulos and Carter Page and all of that was legal activity, communicating with Russian nationals, even if they were foreign officials. That's all legal activity. So what Mueller could possibly be investigating now is beyond me, other than poor Jerome Corsi or Roger Stone. Who knows? I mean, this is so bizarre. What I want to know is what happened to Tony Podesta, the guy who did exactly what Paul Manafort did with his company. Where's the indictment of Podesta? Where's the indictment of McCabe? What's going on with the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Columbia? How long is it going to take to figure out what to do about McCabe?
But what about
charge him or let him go?
What, Joe, about Christopher Steele? Christopher Steele, there was a criminal referral made to the FBI, to the Justice Department, about Christopher Steele, and that he had lied to the FBI about his contacts with the media. Nothing, as far as I know, is ever done with that.
When all is said and done, Jeff Sessions will go down in history as one of the worst attorney generals ever. Now, why do I say that? He has a lot of friends out there in our listening audience. Here's why. When you become attorney general, you take it lock, stock, and barrel. You take the good with the bad. When you become attorney general during a constitutional crisis where the opposing party tried to steal the election from you during the election, during the transition, and after the inauguration, you have a duty to stand up for the Constitution and the rule of law. Jeff Sessions did none of that. He ran for cover. He hid. He gave his authority to the Deputy Attorney General, a never-Trumper, Rod Rosenstein, and created a constitutional catastrophe. Thank you, Jeff.
Well, now, since you seem to feel that this is over, why would Adam Schiff be saying that he wants to move quickly to provide the interview transcripts of their witnesses that they interviewed to the Mueller investigation for possible perjury?
That Adam Schiff has been engaged in for more than 2 years, which is a lie. There is evidence of Russian collusion, Adam Schiff tells us, but he can't make it public. Look, this is a joke. Adam Schiff is a very smart, conniving, sniveling little leftist. Make no mistake about it. Adam Schiff is very smart. He's a very, very good thinker, but he's a fundamentally dishonest person. You put those two things together, and it spells tyranny. He is going to be one of the most abusive chairmen of the Intelligence Committee in the history of our country. He wants to send transcripts to Mueller. You know what Mueller wants from him? Nothing. Nothing. Mueller already knows what those people told the committee because the committee made that information available to them previously. They didn't want it, except in a few circumstances.
Interesting. Let me ask you about the legality of something else that's going on, which is the president last week in that press conference and then over the weekend doubling down on the notion that he could actually declare a national emergency in order to get a border wall constructed. Help us sort this out, how a national emergency works here, and if the president would be in the right by doing that.
Well, here's how it works. Under Article 2 of the Constitution, all executive power vests in a president. Donald Trump is the president. He has the power under Article 2 to declare a national emergency. There is also something called the National Emergencies Act, which was passed in 1976 to prevent national emergencies for going on for years and years and years. That puts procedural limitations, but they are of no constitutional significance. The real issue is, once the president declares an emergency, which he has the power to do, where does he get the money to implement it? In this case, the national emergency is the border. And anyone who thinks that 60,000 people coming across in a single month illegally is not an emergency is a moron. So there is a national emergency at our southern border. The president clearly has the authority to declare that emergency under Article 2 and under the National Emergencies Act. There is unspent money in the Department of Defense budget of about $100 billion. It's called unobligated but appropriated money. In other words, it's been authorized, it's been appropriated, and it's sitting there waiting for contracts to be let for it. He does have the authority to use that money. Now, it will be challenged in court by somebody living in Hawaii or San Francisco, and then we will watch this nonsense play out for a number of months while John Roberts sits there trying to figure out if he's going to be a conservative or a liberal jurist. But yes, the president has the power to declare a national emergency, and there is money that he can spend, and it will be challenged.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens because it's really more of a political constraint on him, really not a legal one. Joe, thank you so much. We always appreciate it when you join us and you make us smarter. Have a great week.
Happy New Year.